I'm Karen Nelson, and you're listening to Becoming You Again, episode number 88. Welcome to Becoming You Again, the podcast to help with your mental and emotional well-being during and after divorce. This is where you learn to overcome the trauma of your divorce by reconnecting with yourself, creating lasting emotional resilience, and living a truly independent life so your life will be even better than when you were married. I'm your host, Karen Nelson. Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for being here today. I really want to thank each and every one of you who continues to show up and listen to the podcast each week, and those of you who are sharing it and who have left a rating. Thank you so much. Becoming You Again, as you know, is still in its infancy as a podcast. We are not quite at a year out, still a couple of months away from being to that point. And we have already hit 10,000 downloads, which is so incredible. It is so much fun to see that number when I go to check and see how the podcast is growing. And I have to say that putting out this podcast each week, it is truly one of my very favorite things that I get to do. And the fact that you are listening and learning and sharing means so much to me. So this celebration of hitting 10K downloads is as much a celebration for me as it is for you, because you have made that happen. You are the ones who are showing up and listening and then doing the work in your own lives to create the evolution and the growth that you are seeking as you move through your divorce. And I am so proud of you, and I hope that you are also so proud of you. And I am incredibly grateful for you each and every week when you show up and listen. And so, thank you. Thank you so much. This week, I wanted to talk a little about money. It's been a while since my last money podcast, and since money and divorce can be triggering for many women, I wanted to teach a little more on the subject, specifically money safety and security after divorce. Historically, money is what was decided upon by the institutional structures to be what we use to exchange value. Before money, we used the barter system, trading things like animal hides or teeth or rocks. And in some places, things like actual livestock were traded. And once governmental institutions showed up, paper and the coins denoting certain amounts were decided upon as just an easier, more universal way to exchange one value for another. Like, even in today's society, this is evolving, where so much of our value transactions aren't even with actual paper money. Like, remember during the COVID lockdown, nobody took cash anymore. You could not pay with cash, and there was a coin shortage, and everything was credit cards because it was easier and safer, and there was less transferable disease, should we say, through the actual transferring money from hand to hand. So many of our value transactions today aren't even using paper money. I know it's still out there. I still use it. I know there are many of us who still do. But with credit cards and debit cards, transferring money is basically transferring numbers on a screen. And we can do this through Venmo or PayPal or Apple Pay, even Bitcoin, which is another way of evolution when it comes to exchanging value for value. And it has nothing at all to do with paper money or coin money, but it is in itself a completely different form or way of thinking about money that is evolving from the very beginning days of that bartering situation that was started years and years and years ago. But because so many of us in Western society, and in the United States especially, have been raised in a capitalistic society, this has informed our beliefs that money is more a status symbol and is attached to our worth. The more money you have, the more you will be included in society and looked at as worthy, smart, lovable, successful, wanted, desired. And what's really interesting is that Western culture has also been historically built on the ideals of Christianity in some form or another, which conversely offers a completely different idea and belief about money. In the Bible, it says something like, money is the root of all evil, or being greedy and wanting more money is evil and bad and wrong, and you shouldn't want that. And this is all to say that it is not surprising at all that so many of us have such confusing, conflated relationship with money, and what we make it mean in our lives. For me personally, I have been working for years to unwind the baggage that I carry with me around money. One of the very first books I read during my divorce that completely changed the way I thought about money was You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. I had never thought about money as something that I actually had a relationship with. And when I read that book, I realized that I had a very bad relationship with money. My relationship with money was very confusing because I was raised in a very Christian household. As you've heard me talk about before, I was raised in the Mormon church. And I had this idea running through the background of my mind that having money or wanting more money made you greedy, made you a bad person. And it meant that you were prideful. And that pride would eventually lead to doing bad things, choosing bad things, or an evil life in some way. And I also, conversely, had this ideal of capitalism and wanting to create more money in my life and knowing that this country was a place where that idea was, supposed to be possible for anyone in any situation. And I had that idea in the back of my head. I have for years and years this idea that I wanted more money in my life. I wanted to have my own successful business. I wanted to be in a situation, and I continue to want to be in a situation where I am one day able to create jobs and opportunities for other women as well. Because I think that is a truly beautiful thing to aspire to and to be able to provide to other women living in this country. And I'm not there yet with my business, but I am definitely on my way and it's on my horizon. So my money relationship has been something that I have been working on for years, and I continue to work on strengthening and growing every day. But as I was going through my divorce, I started to notice that I was putting a lot of pressure on my money relationship. I wanted enough money after my divorce so that I could feel safe. I wanted to be able to look at my bank account and feel secure and not worry that there wouldn't be enough at the end of the month to get by. I was looking at money and saying things like, you need to be the thing that makes me feel safe and secure in my life. I really don't want to have to worry about money anymore. I felt like I had been worrying about money my entire adult life, and I was so tired of it. And I really wanted to change that, but I didn't know how. And I really wanted that safety and security that we seek when we are going through a divorce, especially as women. We want to feel safe and secure in who we are, and using money as that prop was a big deal in my mind. But here's what I have come to learn about money. Money is not safety. Money is not security. Money cannot and does not create a feeling of safety or security within us. What's really going on when we have enough money, and whatever that means to you or me is different, right? But what is really going on when we think that we have enough money in the bank account or the right amount coming in on a monthly basis, it isn't actually creating a feeling of safety, but instead you're just not having feelings of worry or anxiety about money. It's not feeling safe or secure. It just means you're not worried about it. You're not feeling fearful around it. An absence of worry or an absence of anxiety about money doesn't automatically mean that you now have a feeling of safety and security around money. The absence of worry is because you changed the way you were thinking about the money you had in your bank account or the money you have in your life currently. So, for example, if you've been stressing over your final divorce decree about what it's going to state about your child support and your alimony, and you get the final decree and the numbers just aren't what you were hoping or expecting, if you have thoughts like, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I have been for the last 15 years and this amount just won't cut it, you're probably going to have some feelings of worry and anxiety because you're thinking, I'm not going to have enough. How am I going to do this? And on the flip side, let's say it's the same exact situation. You've been worrying about the decree and what it's going to state in terms of child support and alimony, and you see the final numbers and you think, this is great. I'll be able to live and take care of the kids. And you're going to feel relief from the worry and the anxiety because you're thinking, I'm going to have enough. It's going to be okay. I can do this. But you're most likely not feeling safe or secure. You're feeling relief or you're feeling worry and anxiety. And there is a difference. I promise you there is a woman out there who has the amount of money that you have in your bank account right now, and is worried and is fearful that it is not enough, and she does not feel safe and secure around her money. And conversely, I guarantee there is a woman out there who has the amount of money that you have in your account right now, and she isn't worried at all about her money situation. Money is not creating these thoughts and feelings for us. Often we think that it is the actual situation or circumstance of money, but it isn't. Because again, money is just numbers on a screen. Money is just a piece of paper or a coin. It is what we are thinking about money that is creating our feeling inside, that is creating that feeling of relief, that is creating that feeling of worry or anxiety. And so how do we create safety and security when we think about money? Because having money doesn't guarantee that you will never get sick. Having money doesn't guarantee that you will live a long life. Having money holds no guarantee whatsoever that you will be emotionally safe in any way. Money definitely can make things easier. I'm not denying that at all. It can make life so much easier in many practical ways, but it doesn't mean that you are protected from stress, anxiety, death of a family member, sadness, loneliness, any of those things. So if what you are seeking is not just a lack of worry and fear, and you don't want to feel just relief around money, but instead you want a sense of security and safety for yourself when it comes to money, then how can you best do that? Well, you first have to look at what your thoughts are about money and really get up close and personal about your relationship with money. And then from there, you want to figure out some thoughts you can think that truly make you feel safe and secure. And I also think it's a really good idea to start figuring out what safety feels like in your body and what security feels like in your body. So you know, when I think this certain thing about money, I do feel safe or I do feel secure. So the first thing that you need to do is start with your thoughts about money. Write them all out, and there's probably going to be a lot, and it's okay. What did your parents teach you about money? What did your community or your religion teach you about money? What did your spouse teach you about money? What do you think about lending money? What do you think about borrowing money? What do you think about debt? Is money or having money good or bad? Write it all out. Get it all out. Everything that you think about money in so many different situations, you need to take a look at. Get it all out on paper and notice what your relationship with money looks like. And it might be kind of like mine, where you have thoughts where you want to create more money in your life and you want to find success for yourself, but you also have this underlying idea that money is bad and wrong and you shouldn't have it. And that's important for you to know, because until you recognize that you've got these conflicting ideas, you may not be able to move past the amount of money that you are creating in your life right now without noticing what is going on underneath. And next, I want you to start to notice any moment in your life when you feel safe and secure, whether it's around money or not. Where do you feel it in your body? What does it feel like? What does it look like? And what are you thinking about when you feel safe and when you feel secure? The more aware you can be about this, the easier it's going to be to choose thoughts around money that support being able to recreate this feeling for yourself. Once you know where you are at, and you have noticed what safety and security feels like in your body, the next step is to decide on purpose what you want to think about money. You get to think anything you want about it. You may need to start with some stepping stone thoughts to help you eventually get to the thought that you want to have about money, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with stepping stone thoughts. We all have to start there, right? But choose some thoughts that feel believable and help to create that feeling of safety and security when you think about money. So for example, in my own life, I notice that I feel safe and secure when I believe I am capable of creating my own financial result. Before I was able to do that for myself, I used a stepping stone thought of other women are capable of creating their own financial result. So it's possible that I can learn to do that for myself too. So what is it for you that you can think and work to believe for yourself when it comes to your relationship with money that creates that feeling of safety and security? Brainstorm some thoughts and then pick one or two and work on believing them. It's not just this idea of picking a thought and thinking it once and, oh my gosh, it didn't work, I don't believe it. Sometimes we have to work to create that belief, and we have to think that thought over and over, and we have to redirect it and become the manager of our brain and allow that feeling to overtake our body so that we can actually begin to go to that thought automatically rather than having to think it on purpose in moments. That's the ultimate goal. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take practice, and it's okay. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you today. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. I will talk to you next week. If you like what you're learning on the podcast and you're ready to create lasting change and results in your life, then you need to be working one-on-one with Karen as your divorce coach. This is where we take everything you're learning in the podcast and 10x it with implementation and weekly coaching, where you start to see change in yourself and your life immediately. To find out more about how to work exclusively with Karen, go to www.karennelsoncoaching.com. That's www.karennelsoncoaching.com. Thanks for listening. If this podcast agreed with you in any way, please take a minute to follow and give it a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. And for more details about how I can help you live an even better life than when you were married, make sure and check out the full show notes by clicking the link in the description.